Hello, my name is Robin Mullin, and I'm the president of the Insight Edge Foundation for Education. And it's a pure delight to announce that we are sponsoring a beautiful new series by Diana Wentworth, who will be sharing her amazing tips and practices and inspirations around creating more magic in your life. This is the fourth in the series of 6 videos on Expect Magic. And the theme today is beauty, inner and outer expression. Enjoy. So I'd like to introduce you to Diana Wentworth. She's been a best-selling author, award-winning author, actually, of 10 books, including her beautiful memoir, Send Me Someone. And she is now putting some of her stories and tips and inspirational ideas into her 11th book. She is an amazing, beautiful woman with a big, big heart who's continually, even after the age of 80 now, creating new and wonderful things in her life and for all of us. And with great joy and excitement, I'm able to introduce you to her now.
The subject of beauty is something that is not explored and talked about in general very much. We do focus on looking beautiful if we want to spend time doing that, but beauty itself is such an amazing energy. And it is so, I think, important to cultivate that and culture it in our life. And as usual, I find just the absolute right poem. This one is by Mary Oliver, who was completely focused on beauty. She lived up in the Cape Cod area, and she would get up every morning and go out and really spend the day in nature. And she would write some absolutely exquisite poems. I remember one line of hers: "Are my boots old? Is my coat torn? Am I no longer young and still not half perfect? Let me keep my mind on what matters, which is my work, which is mostly standing still and learning to be astonished." Well, anyway, this morning I found her poem, a short poem called Look and See, and it's perfect for our topic today. "This morning at waterside, a sparrow flew to a water rock and landed by error on the back of an eider duck. Lightly it fluttered off, amused. The duck too was not provoked, but you might say was laughing. This afternoon, a gull sailing over our house was casually scratching its stomach of white feathers with one pink foot as it flew. Oh Lord, how shining and festive is your gift to us, if we only look and see." And that's by Mary Oliver from her book, Why I Wake Early. So today, I just want to say there are really only 2 books on beauty that I found on the subject of beauty as an entire encompassing subject. And this will appear, I will tell you what the books are. One is called Beauty, the Invisible Embrace, and it's by John O'Donohue, who is one of the most wonderful mystical writers. And he says divine beauty calls the imagination and awakens all that is noble in the human heart, and that it's a gentle but urgent call to awaken. So he is encouraging really that we have a much greater intimacy with beauty and celebrate it for what it is, because it really is a homecoming of the human spirit. So I recommend his book very, very highly. And then there's another book called Beauty and the Soul, and this one is by Piero Ferrucci. He was the best-selling author of The Power of Kindness. And he wants us to appreciate beauty being far from a luxury or an afterthought, but vital to leading a happy, balanced, and satisfying life. So I'm just going to impart a little bit of what he shared in this book. I love this little bit of an exercise. He says, let us imagine a person, say a 30-year-old woman, She has the usual concerns, her love life, her career, her chances of having a family, how to make ends meet, staying fit, and so on. She's not particularly interested in beauty, in the aesthetic experience. She has way too much on her mind. Then one day, and I love this word, as if by a spell, the door opens for her onto a world whose existence she hardly expected. And this woman starts to perceive beauty everywhere, around and inside her, in the shape of the clouds in birdsong, reflections on a puddle, a car wreck dumped in a field of weeds, an act of unconditional kindness, the adagio of Mozart K48-8, piano concerto, the memory of an encounter years before, a letter expressing gratitude, the magic of dance, the skyline of a big city, the veins of a freshly cut onion, the colors of a landscape at sunset, the sound of waves breaking on the shore, a discolored, half-ripped billboard, the hues on a beetle's back, a walk through the streets of town on a clear night, a Rembrandt etching, an elegantly worn garment, mountain air on a summer morning, the perfectly measured words of a poem, the perfume of a flower, Gershwin's Summertime, moonlight cast over the countryside, the look in a child's eyes, the patterns on a shell, a dream, the starry sky, just to name a few examples. Now suddenly this person is able to perceive beauty. So the question is, how does her life change? How does our life change when we open to beauty?
What an intriguing inquiry.
Mhm.
So if we're open to beauty, if we really are, as this woman in your example, Diana, if we're really open to now seeing it, feeling it, acknowledging and noticing it, how can our lives change? So I'd like each of you to kind of just quietly sit with that question for yourself. You know, the days that you do notice, how is your life different? Or, you know, if you could open and notice more and live in that space more, how might your life be different? And let's just kind of just be with that for a minute. We don't need to write it, but let's just kind of see if we can sense into that. Find that place in us that remembers that opening to the world of beauty. And invite that into us. Invite that feeling, invite that remembering into our cells. How is our life different when we really open and include and make space for this relationship with beauty? And can we invite ourselves today, for the rest of the time we're together, to stay with that feeling, with that understanding, remembering, knowing, connection and relationship to beauty? And then let's let it keep expanding, the awareness, expanding our connection to that sense of reunion or union with beauty. And from that place, as much as we can muster it and hold it right now, I'd like to invite you to ponder another question about what lights you up, I guess, would be, how do you engage with beauty and how does it light you up? How do you engage with beauty? What are your favorite ways to engage with beauty and how it lights you up? So as you're feeling it in you, let any kind of thought or remembering come to you. Can be really recent or maybe far long ago. What's really lit you up in the world of beauty? How do you engage with beauty and how does it light you up?
Well, I would like to explore this question of of our own beauty rituals and how we treat our bodies. And I love this because, and people ask me about it because the people who know me know that I've always loved devoting time to grooming and clothing. My mother was a beauty, and she loved to sew. And she and my grandmother would make the most amazing clothing and had an appreciation of adornment. And I remember silk roses and things like that that they loved. And so I think I grew up, wanting to go in my mother's bathroom and put on her makeup. I couldn't wait to wear lipstick and all of that. But there's a line, I think, that women, we need to distinguish between what is vanity and what is self-honoring. And there's an article that was in Yoga Journal that really deepened my thoughts about this. And I felt that it gave my heart permission to spend time doing this. And this was by a woman named Shannon Schneider. And she went on a group traveling into India, and they decided as a group to wear only Indian clothing while they were there. And she said, as I devoted myself to the ritual of beautification in the Indian dawn, I began to see this nurturing of appearance as a sacred act, as though I were dressing and adorning a goddess. It was as if by treating my outer self as sacred, I was celebrating my embodiment and honoring the divine within me. Inspired by our study of Tantra on the trip, I began to think of this process as Shriification, connecting with the Shri, or beauty and abundance inherent in the universe. Adorning myself became a way of acknowledging not just my own divinity, but all the beneficent qualities of the world around me. Feeling radiantly beautiful allowed me to slip into a sincere, sweet participation with the beauty of my surroundings, to feel worthy of all the sights and blessings I was taking in. And there was another article in the same issue of Yoga Journal by Christopher Wallace, who wrote, in classical tantric philosophy, the yogi seeks to perceive all things as they really are, a manifestation of the divine light of consciousness. To see all things as equally beautiful. You can cultivate your capacity to see yourself and all reality in this way by holding the awareness of innate beauty shining through all that you do. As you go about your day, silently repeat to yourself with everything you see, beauty is greeting beauty. With everything you touch, beauty is touching beauty. And so on. In this way, you will expand your capacity to see all things as beautiful. About my personal ritual, I actually love taking my shower in the morning. I've done different things while I'm putting on my makeup. I've listened to Calm, which is an app, and they have a kind of a wonderful Buddhist contemplation for the day. And I do coaching called Ideal Life Vision Coaching, where you actually write out in 5 different areas of your life as if it is happening right now. And then you record that to accelerated learning music on your phone, so that I would play that recording to myself every morning and just bask in the feelings of the presence of my ideal life vision in all these different areas of my life. And I also love texture and color, and I love buying clothing that's really practical and classical, so it doesn't go out of style. And mostly I wear my Chico's undergarments, a shell and a pair of pants, or I'll put on some wonderful jacket every day, something, or a different shirt. I love jewelry that feels really good to me. I love flowers from the garden coming into the house. I love sitting out on my patio. I mean, there's just so many ways that I bask in beauty every day, and feel that that is as important as what I eat. it's really food for the soul. And the feeling of confidence that we have when we are self-nurturing and when we are honoring this magnificent body that works so incredibly perfectly for us, and giving thanks for our health and for every beautiful person in our life. I just feel that this is like my magic wand, that I get to, in noticing beauty, that I am really bringing it into my very core, and that shines out of me. There was a wonderful book with a title, Lit from Within. And I think that by honoring the beauty in our surroundings and in our own bodies, that we bring something magical into this world that we wouldn't if we didn't appreciate what we were born with. And it's kind of crazy. Nobody ever sees me not put together. Maybe I'm a little too manic about it, but it's fun for me in the morning, right after I eat something, to go in, just go in and I can put on my makeup in 10 minutes, and then I know I'm ready for the day. I don't want to be surprised, with somebody coming or a Zoom call that I have to hop on. It's like handled. So I think that this is a great point of discussion for all of us. How have you perhaps hidden from your own beauty? And believe me, I have no judgment about natural beauty. For people who don't care to put on makeup or adorn themselves in certain ways, that's beautiful too. We're just unique, each one of us, in our relationship to beauty. What standard are we aspiring to? Honoring ourselves as queens and goddesses and the divine feminine in whatever form that feels joyful to you. I mean, really, that is the key. To be doing it to think that you're better than somebody else, or more attractive, or that's what you judge people by, that doesn't make any sense. But what joy can be found in beauty in the world and in beauty in ourselves, as far as our own expression, and have that be clean, have that be pure, have that be who we really are and what we aspire to. It really is an inside job. There was a book years ago written, Joy is an Inside Job. It is. And I still think that if we wake up in the morning and we ask those quintessential questions that have been so important, so key to what we're doing here together, what feels like the right question around this topic? Where's the most beauty to be found today? Or how can I feel radiantly expressive of my soul through my appearance? I think remember that the quintessential questions always have a little bit of the answer in the question itself. And believe me, I spent years being able to indulge in just about buying whatever I wanted. And those were not years that I spent in my most creative, expressive, deep, introspective times. It's a trap, it's a trap to be a slave to what society says is beautiful. And it can be a fantastic conversation for us to have with ourselves. I think this can be really, really a great topic to continue exploring with your homework assignment. I think it would be great if you could get a little notebook or something you could carry in your bag if you're out in the world. But just start noticing the effect of beauty, seeing something beautiful in the world. It may be my daughter's cat is the most gorgeous little creature. And I light up when she shows up and she feels so soft, you know, I mean, so that's a moment of beauty for me, of just noticing whatever lights you up about beauty. And how do you aspire to engage more with it without the standards of the world affecting how you perceive it?
We hope that you enjoyed this particular segment of our Expect Magic series of 6. And if you did, we hope you will listen to all the rest.